Free Britney. Hey sailors, I'm the girl with the lighthouse tattoo, and welcome to my adventures. Today, let's talk about hashtag Free Britney, because it's high time that Britney Spears is released from her weird conservatorship that, did you even know conservatorships were a thing? Because I didn't. Maybe I'm just oblivious. I am also Canadian, so our laws are a little different, but maybe we have conservatorships here too. I am that oblivious that I have no idea. All I know is how unfair the situation seems, and as someone who personally has battled mental illness and neurodivergence, I just can't fathom that this is a reality. That if, you know, in some alternate dimension I had been super successful, that someone could just take my life and my freedom away from me in order to control my money. That's just like the grossest concept in the world. I don't want to talk too much about the past or like, you know, details about what Britney has been through or her episodes or anything, because as she said herself, like a lot of that stuff is embarrassing, and those are like the worst moments of your life that get amplified and repeated and repeated and repeated by people who know nothing about it. And as someone who has had a mental illness and episodes that were very embarrassing, things that you don't want anyone to repeat. So I'm not going to sit here and run through like, these are the things that happened. Yeah, a lot, like most of us know. A lot of really unfortunate things happened, especially around 2007, 2008 in Britney's life. And unfortunately, because of the media and the way that the public wanted to consume her life as if she wasn't just another human being, a lot of pressure was put on her, and it got tough to handle, understandably. I mean, looking back at her life and her music, it's really kind of heartbreaking thinking about the song Lucky, because I remember first watching that and being like, I don't remember exactly how old, but probably like 12, 10, something like that, very young, and thinking, what are you talking about? You're like the most famous girl in the world, and you're sitting here sad? Really? Like me? Really? Like even these girls who run the world by being pop stars and being celebrities, like even they get sad? It was kind of like a big moment for me to be like, oh, okay, yeah, like I get it. But I mean, man, we really thought she was so much luckier than she actually was. Nobody really understood what this conservatorship was doing to her until she finally started speaking about it herself with her own tongue. And I'm really glad that she found the courage to start speaking up, because I feel like it's a very important aspect of her life that not enough people actually know very much about. I'm really glad that she's finally had the courage to speak up about her conservatorship the last few months in court and actually speak for herself. Strangely, that's a very long and kind of difficult word to say when you're trying to like think of other thoughts and make sure that you're planning out your next sentence. But I just cut these bangs and I'm just messing with them a lot, and I need to just leave them the heck alone. So don't mind me. I'm just like looking at myself in the viewfinder and finding myself fixing my little brand new bangs. So ignore that. The reason that I decided to actually make this video is because I saw a couple of her Instagram posts and they really resonated with me quite a bit. And it's tough because I relate to her in a lot of ways, and yet for a lot of years I could say that I fell in with a lot of the rest of society in judging her for a lot of different things. But truthfully, like when it hit 2007 and there was, you know, the ambulance involved and all of that, that kind of made me realize just what she was going through, partially because someone else who had been through kind of a similar situation in the celebrity light, which was Courtney Love. She came out and said, only 2 women in Hollywood have been strapped to gurneys like that, and that's me and Britney Spears. And that kind of like made me think, man, like the woman that so much of Hollywood is convinced killed her husband is the only other person who's been treated in the same way as Britney Spears. And why? You know, she was going through a really tough time and like had a relative that she was really close to pass. So like, are you not allowed to get upset? Like, are you not allowed emotions if you're famous? Like, I don't know. the whole thing grosses me out. I hated it, and it made me realize, not necessarily that, you know, I have a huge sympathy for Courtney Love or anything, but at the same time, like, there's something special about being treated in such a way because of your mental health, especially as a woman. There's not a great history. If you look back at hysteria and actually, you know, a lot of things, like I could go into detail about a bunch of things that probably wouldn't be appropriate for YouTube and I would end up getting in trouble. So I'm not going to dive into that. But if you actually look into the history of hysteria and how doctors treated women for this disease or illness or whatever, that is fake, obviously, that does no longer exist because there are real diagnoses for issues now, and it's not just a woman with emotions being hysterical. But anyways, like I said, check that out if you're interested. But when it comes to Britney, I just feel incredibly bad for so many things. Like, where do you even start? She wasn't even allowed to have freedom to live her own life, to say no to dance moves, let alone to say no to jobs. So I can understand why she quit. And one of her recent Instagram posts was basically like an FU to the haters who were judging her for her dance moves. And she's just like filming these little dance videos in her living room for fun. You know, why not just let her have her fun? If you don't like it, move along. The internet is so filled with anything, as Bo Burnham would say, anything and everything all of the time.
But I interest you in everything all of the time.
Why would you go hunting for something that you don't like and then complain about it to the person who made that thing? Like, I don't get it. Go find something else. Be positive on someone else's post that you actually care about rather than being negative on something you don't want to see. Just move along. Just move along. Every time I see someone hating on someone, especially online, all I see is an unhappy person, because at the end of the day, if you're happy, you're not wasting your time bringing other people down. That's just a reality of what happy people do. They live their lives. They're not bringing other people down. So unfortunately, what people are doing when they express their hate to other people, they're announcing, hey everyone, I'm really unhappy. Come down here with me. That's all you're doing. You're just telling everyone how depressed and unhappy and lonely and sad you are. So just move along. Stop with the hate. And, oh man, I feel like Chris Crocker right now. Leave Britney alone. I mean, man, oh man, the internet was not nice to Chris Crocker. And he was right. He was right. I didn't think that. I thought the man was crazy. I did not understand the context. I didn't understand the story. And truthfully, I was one of those people in society who just took Britney at face value and just thought, oh, whatever, she's got everything. She's fine. She could do whatever she wants. She couldn't actually. She couldn't even control whether or not to have an IUD inserted into her body, to have control over her own sexual health. That's just shocking and disgusting that that would be allowed in 2020 in the United States of America, but also with someone who is probably one of the most powerful and rich women in the entire world. And that still happened to her. So all that shows me is that abuse does not discriminate. You could be rich, you could be famous, you could be anything. Anyone from any situation, any walk of life. And if you have somebody in your life who is willing to put their needs above yours and to force you into things that are not good for you, that is abuse. Abuse doesn't have to be a punch to the face. It's not the obvious stuff every time. For some people it is, and that's really unfortunate. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of different types of abuse, emotional, financial. It's not right. It's never right. And I don't think that any human being should be forced to accept a lot of the things that she's accepted. So for her to speak out finally and to try to reclaim her own strength is amazing to see. And I feel bad for not having her back sooner, especially knowing for well over a decade that she hasn't really done anything wrong. But I'm not really personally a pop music fan. I listen to metal mostly and like punk and stuff. But you know, just because I'm not a fan of her music doesn't mean I don't love her as a human being, because I think that she's been through so much and shown her strength and kept fighting back. And I really admire that. And to hear that people in her family weren't really helping her the way they claimed to have had her back, like to see her Instagram post calling out her sister specifically to say that she used a remix of Britney's song. Jamie Lynn Spears used a remix of Britney's song, basically for attention and to get views. And Britney didn't like that. She didn't want to record the remix herself because she wasn't happy with it. And so when her sister went and did that, that's pretty gross. And then to come out now and say, oh, I've always supported my sister. I have always supported her. Well, what did you do to support your sister? I'm waiting. What did you do? What did you do? Because according to Britney herself, that's not the case. I gotta say, it made me laugh and smile, like laugh and like with a happy air to it, because I was very excited to see that not only did she get her chosen counsel, so an attorney that she actually handpicked for the first time in 13 years since her conservatorship started. That's a long time, so that's so super cool. But the thing that made me laugh and smile was her doing cartwheels from excitement just from being able to pick her own lawyer. Like, let that sink in. For you to have such little control over your own life as one of the richest women in the world, that you would do cartwheels from excitement because you got to pick your own lawyer. Why didn't she get to pick it to begin with? Like, why? What kind of father would put their own daughter through this kind of stuff? And I loved what her lawyer said. It was beautiful. If you love your daughter, you will step down as sole conservator right now. Because if Jamie Spears actually loved his daughter, then he should probably do exactly what her lawyer is asking for. Because if she really genuinely needs a conservatorship, then there should be some neutral party that should be able to control that. Not somebody who says, no, you can't even say no to dance moves. So, I mean, I get it. I get where she's coming from. I've had family members come in after the fact and claim that they're there for me or this or that. So it's interesting. I feel a lot of empathy for Britney because I have been through enough to know that what she's going through is not right. And I'm so incredibly happy to see her standing up for herself, because I knew for months and months and months before she spoke up with that phone call to the judge that she was keeping something to herself. She'd come on Instagram and say, hi, everyone. I know you guys are worried about me, but I'm doing okay. But she wouldn't say it like that. She'd be like, hi, everyone. I'm doing okay. Like, just so obviously in visual distress. So it's just really tough. There's not really a whole lot that I can contribute to the conversation other than to say, you know, hashtag free Britney, because at the end of the day, I don't have control. I'm not a judge. I don't even live in California. So, like, I don't really know what I could contribute to the situation other than to say, you know, free Britney. It's time. She didn't do anything to deserve this nonsense that she's been put into. And as someone who has done and said and reacted in much more dramatic and destructive ways because of mental illness, I've never been put under conservatorship. So why should Britney? Why should Britney? You know, if someone as messed up as me and who made as many mistakes as I have made can grow up and move on and make better choices and grow as a human being, why can't you see that Britney's done the same? Look at her. She is not the same girl she was 13 years ago. So stop acting like she is. It just is simply inaccurate. So let the woman live her life. Let her have kids if she wants to. And you know what? I'm so down for half Iranian Britney Spears children, because you know what? I'm Iranian, so it would be pretty sweet. We back you completely, Britney, and that's not just me as an Iranian saying that. A lot of Iranians are like, oh, we love you because of your boyfriend. No, I love you because you have fought for your strength and you are strong and you can do this. Don't worry about your family. Don't worry about anyone who pretended to be your friend. You know the people you can trust. Stick with them. Forget everyone else. They're not worth your time. Free Britney.